Yeah, we're going to get started here with the first Cristo Rey Columbus High School podcast update, virtual learning 2020. Welcome to episode 2. Welcome to episode 3. Okay, welcome to episode 4.
Today's episode
is welcome back.
Welcome back.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Welcome back, guys. Hey guys.
Hi guys. Welcome back. Hello.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hello everybody.
Hello.
Hi. Hey guys.
Previously on the Cristo Rey podcast.
Hello.
Hey guys.
Hi guys.
Hey guys.
Welcome everybody.
Hey guys.
Hello everybody.
Hello everyone.
Hi guys. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
As we begin,
Hey everyone.
Hey guys. Hello everyone.
Hey guys.
Hello. Hey guys.
hey guys,
Hey y'all.
Hey guys.
Hey guys. Hi guys.
Hi guys.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Welcome back to the 50th episode of
Hey everyone.
Welcome to the Cristo Rey podcast.
Hi guys.
Hey everybody. Hey guys.
Hello everybody.
Hey everybody.
Hey.
Hey everyone.
Hey everybody.
Hey guys.
Welcome back.
Hello guys.
Hey Cougars.
Hey everyone.
March is Women's History Month.
Hey everybody.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
welcome back. As we begin,
Hi guys.
Hello everyone.
Hey everybody.
welcome.
Hey guys.
Hey Cougars.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Hi guys. Hi guys. Hey guys.
Welcome back.
Yo, what's up everybody? Hey, what's up everybody?
Hey guys.
Welcome.
Hi guys.
Hey everybody. Hello everybody.
Hi everybody.
Stop the music. Stop the music. Stop the music.
Hey everybody. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Stop the music. Stop the music. Stop the music.
Hey guys.
Welcome back to the Cristo Rey podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to the 100th episode of the Cristo Rey podcast.
Oh boy, here it comes.
I'm one of your hosts, Emily, and today joined with me is...
Hi guys, it's Tiara Icy here.
Ujwal.
Nishan.
And Koya.
And in celebration of this historic milestone, we have brought back 3 of the classic podcast hosts, Cristo Rey graduates Breanna, Rubi, and Jaleyl.
All right, first of all, I just want to say thank you guys so much for joining us. I know how busy you guys are all, with life after Cristo Rey, probably going to college and universities and, working hard to get those degrees. But could you guys share a little bit about what life after Cristo Rey is like for you guys?
Sure. I thought you'd never ask. Life after Cristo Rey for me has been really, really, really fun. I'll go to a HBCU, a historically Black college in Texas called Prairie View A&M University. And I major in political science and minor in international business and theater. And it's truly just been an amazing experience. I've kept a lot of my connections from Cristo Rey in the work study program. I worked for Jaleyl in government affairs at Jobs Ohio my freshman and sophomore year. And I was a summer intern my freshman year. But yeah, that's definitely, every time I go home for like a break, I always make sure I connect with him. And being down here at Prairie View, which we call PV, it's just been an amazing experience. It's very diverse, kind of similar to Cristo Rey, and in an extent, it's definitely more African Americans here because it's a historically Black college. But overall, I've had an amazing experience. I say I'm definitely a step ahead of everyone here just because of my internship experience. But overall, yeah, it's been great. I love my HBCU.
Hello everyone, it is Breanna. I am glad to be back. Yes, you asked a wonderful question. So life after Cristo Rey has been quite interesting. I go to Johns Hopkins University, for those of you who may not know, and I am studying medicine, science, and humanities with a potential minor in Spanish. Yeah, I've been doing a lot. I feel like this year has been quite hectic because when I first came to college, we were still very much in the epicenter of COVID protocols and doing testing like every week. And I feel like that life was quite different to what I'm experiencing now. So I can almost say like, I am fully getting the college experience now, starting now, I would say. I had a lot more free time. But yeah, there's a lot to get into and I can't wait to do that with you all.
I guess my turn now. Hey guys, I'm Ruby. Well, life for me after high school, a little bit different compared to Jaleyl and Breanna. I am in the process of DACA, which if you guys don't know what that is the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, which was like placed in Barack Obama's president term, which is just a protection for kids that arrive to the United States from their home countries at a young age. And I've been currently in the process for 2 years, which, hasn't been the greatest because I haven't been able to go to school due to that. But, I've just been, rolling with life, just, hoping that hopefully soon it will be resolved because there's a pause on it in DACA, which is basically a work permit, so I can be able to, go to school, go to, work here in the United States. But under Biden's term, it's currently paused right now. They are fighting for it in Congress right now. So, I'm just having to been waiting that out because I'm not able to qualify for financial aid in school, which that means they would put me as an abroad student, which is pretty pricey out of pocket. So currently I've just been waiting that out, trying to see what the best options are for me. But there's, more into that story, and I'm just excited, to explain a little bit how that process is.
Hey everyone, Mr. Corrigan here. It was a real joy bringing together these past and present podcast hosts. I wish everyone throughout podcast history could have been here, but with everyone's busy schedule, it just was not possible. However, podcast hosts of then and now who couldn't be here sent me pre-recorded messages, which we'll share with you throughout this episode. In fact, here's one now.
Hi guys, my name is Olonga. For those who don't know me, I was a last year graduate from Cristo Rey, and I was a podcast host actually my junior year and senior year. I just want to say congratulations to the podcast for reaching 100 episodes. I'm passing on my greetings to the staff. A little bit about me: I go to Xavier University. I'm studying biomedical sciences to become a doctor, a gynecologist in the future. Bye.
So, for the alumni, how was the process? How was the process like to find and apply to the colleges that you guys applied to? And what was the process like to find the college that you did go to? And what drew you? What about your college drew you?
That's a really good question, I will say. And I think that's a really good question for especially the rising seniors or well, really anybody. You guys are all, pushing for college or something, some to that extent. But that's a really good question. I'd say a good factor that narrowed down, well, for one, the process for me looked like I applied to Common App. I applied to, I think, maybe 20, 22 schools on Common App, just because I knew that I was fortunate enough to not have to pay for it like some of my other peers were. So being that the school was paying for it, I went ahead and applied to as many as I could. Mm-hmm. Use that dollar. But I definitely say that I nailed it down really because I knew I wanted to go to mine was kind of easy because I knew I wanted to go to an HBCU, of course. And then I knew I wanted to, I think I wanted a certain type of culture at my HBCU that not all of them have. So there's I just say do your research really to nail down the schools that you want, because I got accepted to mostly all the HBCUs I applied to except for Howard. I got waitlisted, and but at the end of the day, it was down to Hampton and Prairie View for me. And I say just do your research on the culture of the school. You guys have TikTok, so look on TikTok at people's reviews of the school, things like that. Look at the where they're ranked as far as the major that you want, and just talk to alumni. People will definitely people are more than happy to share. Talk to the SGA presidents, things like that. But that's really how I nailed down the school that I wanted. So I hope that answers your question.
Jaleyl gave a really good answer for that. Yeah, for me, it was pretty much the same. I had a top 3 that I was looking for with my schools, mostly centering around can they provide financial aid? Can they be more open towards maybe students of color, diversity? And I was also looking to see if they had opportunities for me in my field and what I want to go to in the future. And that's really what navigated me towards my top 3. I think I was between OSU, Johns Hopkins, and Notre Dame, and they all kind of gave me that. But when it came down to it, I feel like the school I ended up choosing encompassed all of that. Since coming here, I have seen that diverse aspect. Even though it is a PWI, I've been able to meet people who are from my culture, out of my culture. I've been able to see so many differences in the way we talk, the way we act, and the fact that it's an out-of-state school. I was able to get some of that culture shock and kind of divulge into a world that wasn't what I was used to since I've been in Columbus, Ohio for like all of my life. So I think that was one thing I'm really grateful for, and one reason why I'm really happy with the school I chose. As for navigating applying, I made sure to talk to your counselor. That was a big part of it because they really broke it down for me. The differences in like prices, the graduation rates, things that I never knew even existed within like the college world in general. That was really important for me as well, because these things will help you know if you can graduate. Is it possible to graduate from the school? Can you stay in it long term? All of that was very important. And I feel like since then, I've pretty much been able to get like a steady coasting situation happening with my school, and it's been good so far. And we also have a program at my school that actually helps with that. It's called the Matriculate. I feel like this would be really good for anybody who wants to go into college. You basically get set up with a person or a student who got into like some of these different schools, and then they give you advice on how to do your Common Apps, how to apply to different areas, what to look for. I feel like that would be very beneficial for a lot of you going forward. So definitely look into that.
Yeah, one question. So I know a lot of seniors like me, there's a lot of anxiety with college approaching, and I know one of the biggest like things that we worry about is moving away from family or just like from the norm. So how did you overcome the struggle of like moving away, even if you're not like in a different state, just a different city, or moving away from family and friends? And how long would you say it took?
That's a really good question. Is your name Koya?
Yeah, Koya.
That's a really pretty name. Thank you for your question, but that's You're welcome. I also wanted to mention, before I answer your question, another good thing to consider for college, for the past question, is financial aid. I forgot to mention that. Pick the school that fits your financial aid. If you want to be in debt, it's okay to be in debt. Most of the world is in debt. So if you're okay with that, think about what you want for your future. If you're not okay with that, pick a school that's more in your budget. But yeah, that answers the first question to finish that out. But to answer your question, I'm not gonna lie, for me, I was kind of ready to go, because similar to Breanna, I've been living in Ohio for a pretty long time in my life, so I was kind of ready to venture out. My school is right outside of Houston, Texas, so Houston is like the fourth biggest city in America. So I knew I wanted to like live near a big city. I wanted like a big city because Ohio was it's like a medium-sized city, really. So it wasn't hard at all for me. The biggest thing is that sometimes, like when I go shopping by myself, I miss my mom so much, because my mom does this thing where, like, when we shop, she complains like the whole time we're shopping. But so sometimes when I'm out, I'll call my mom just to hear her complain while I'm shopping. So I'd say like you just have to find what works for you sometimes. Like just find ways to you still got to keep in touch, of course. So I say that helped me with moving so far, because I am 18 hours away from home. So it does get hard, especially with the time change. It's like an hour time change. You just do what you can.
That's so cute. I love the detail of you calling your mom to listen to her complain. That is the cutest thing.
Thank you.
Hey guys, it's Jay Sean, and unfortunately I was unable to attend the 100th podcast episode. However, I would like to say my thoughts about it. I honestly think it's so cool that the podcast, we're able to have fun and build this community, and we're able to see the progress and the milestones that we made. Now, I know that I am a new member, but I can say that I am looking forward to making many more milestones with the podcast community in Cristo Rey.
It was very interesting when I first got to college, because Baltimore is about 6 hours away. So having to bring all of my stuff with me, we drove out there at first. And I thought my family wasn't going to be the type to kind of have those sorrowful goodbyes as we leave and crying and stuff. And that's exactly what happened. Just a lot of sadness filled the air, even if they weren't necessarily tears. But I think what pushed us all to know is that in college, things just go by way faster. I know your semester is probably feeling feeling like it's taking a while. Like some of you are ready to graduate, some of you are ready to move on to the next grade. I'm surprised, like I'm already a sophomore this year. I feel like freshman year just kind of went by fast, and that's with or without COVID, because it's kind of happening right now, even as I'm in sophomore year, like already in the spring semester and then going to be going on to junior year. It's just knowing that it kind of moves faster. You get, at least for us, we had like a lot more breaks to be able to come home. So any chance I had that opportunity, I was buying a Southwest plane ticket to come home, ready to see my parents. Now my mom's ready for me to go back. But then of course, whenever she needs something, she has that little like, I'm going to miss you. You know, you're my only daughter. It's very silly, but it all works out. I feel like as long as I was like calling her, she was okay. As long as I was checking up on affairs at home and seeing how everybody was doing, we were managing. And those FaceTime calls really do help. And I feel like it's also about finding who your people are in a new location. You kind of don't want to be out and alone. Like that's okay if you want to progress through life that way. But sometimes it's just nice to have somebody else who's also from out of state and can relate to being away. And believe it or not, I've actually met some people from Columbus, Ohio as well. And I come back home sometimes with them too. So you find a new family.
I have a question, and basically, like, what was your favorite part about high school? And then what's your favorite part about not being in high school?
I can answer this. my favorite part about high school, my favorite part about Cristo Rey in particular was the work study program. If I remember how I remember it, the work study program has so many jewels. Oh my gosh. Shout out to, I'm not sure if they're still there, but if you know, you know. Shout out to Miss Muchler. Shout out to specifically Miss Muchler, because I just love her so much. Also, I forgot her name, but I love her so much. Somebody help me, because I know she's still there. You know.
Miss Martin?
Miss Martin, yes. You knew what I was talking about. I love Miss Martin, bro. I love Miss Martin. I love Miss Mushroom. I love Miss Sprayberry. I love everyone inside that office. Like they really, I remember I would just stop in there. Some days, one of my last years there, I think it was maybe like my junior year, my senior year. Actually, both of them, I worked remotely. So I would sometimes stay inside the office and just hang out with them. And you learn so much about people just, being inside of there. But I love that aspect of high school for me. One thing that I am happy about that I'm not in high school now is I get to make my own schedule, and I get to make all my classes in the morning. If I want all my classes to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I can do that. And I love that for me. So, yeah.
Well, for me, my favorite thing about high school was that I had a very different experience for many of my peers. I didn't have the opportunity to participate in the PWSP program, but I was a volunteer there. And what I loved is the amount of support that I got from the school. I was the only person under DACA in my class. And, it made me feel good that I know that regardless, I know I had the support of like my teachers there. And, no matter what, I was always, being involved in things. And the school always tried to figure out a way to help me and to be involved, and I volunteered at the school, and I volunteered in organizations, and they're a nonprofit. So I feel like I just got a very different experience in the sense that, my story wasn't the same as everyone else's there. And that's kind of how life is, like you're not going to have the same path as everyone. Usually most people go off to college, and that wasn't the case for me because I haven't been able to. So I'm just happy that Cristo Rey really just helped me, already. They helped me mentally wise in the sense that they helped me be prepared for the mystery of the future, because I never really knew in Cristo Rey, what I was going to do. Sometimes when I would volunteer at the school, and it was honestly week by week. I wouldn't even know. And they kind of prepared me to just expect the unexpected. And I feel like, that's really helped me out, even just graduating from there. But my favorite part from graduating there was that, I don't know, I just feel like more free in the sense that I feel like more of an adult, and I can make my own decisions and my own calls, which honestly, Cristo Rey really does prepare you for that, because I feel like we are, like in Cristo Rey, you kind of adulting already. I mean, you're having all this experience already there, and that really does help you afterwards, to have that confidence in, decisions and big decisions afterwards. So, I just feel like it really does equip you for success, and being able to trust yourself and trust your instincts, you know what I mean? So I feel like I just like that independency that I have now. Even though I don't have many opportunities, I know that, if Cristo Rey believed in me and doing so many things, that I can do it now by myself. And, I'm not sure what life has for me, but I know that there's people that believe in me out now, and that there's, Cristo Rey believed in me, so I kind of believe in myself now.
Hey everyone, it's Nija. I was on the Cristo Rey podcast last year, my sophomore year. I wanted to congratulate everyone and say good luck and 100 episodes. For me, it was definitely the people. I feel like I had a lot of people who were like supporting me, and definitely everybody who Jaleyl shouted out to and more. Like, I feel like the opportunities from those people and just the way that they encouraged me and believed in me, I don't think people understand how much belief can go. Like, it can really drive you places, encourage you to do better. And I feel like hearing that from a lot of people gave me the support that I needed in order to like go on the journey that I'm going on right now. And I feel like being able to have those people and such a close-knit family was very beneficial for me. Even like extending to the PWSP crew, like, and to the people who I worked with at PWSP, I'm still like in contact with a lot of the people who I was working with, even from like freshman year up till now. I'm still friends with all of the people who I worked with at Grant Hospital, and then getting to have another student who also worked at Grant come to Hopkins was something that was surreal. Sagarita, this is her shout out. That was really cool. And I see her on campus and I'm like, you see, we were family. Like, I know you and I get to be able to do these things with you even after high school. And I feel like that's something unreal that you don't really get every day from other high schools. And then as far as college life, I feel like my favorite thing would probably have to be definitely the events and the clubs. I feel like they give me space to branch out and do things other than my main priority. And I feel like having that freedom has kept me from going crazy or just feeling like there's too much on my plate. It's like my breathing room. And that has given me a lot to think about and to act on. So I'm very happy with that.
First off, Jaleyl, I just want to say that we miss you so much, like the whole podcast, like we miss you so much. And we appreciate that you guys are taking the time to like, do this interview with us. Since we're talking about Cristo Rey in general, I wanted to ask you guys, like, how have Cristo Rey shaped you for like, the college life? Because people are like, Cristo Rey is very hard. The academic life is really hard. And we don't really have like freedom to do like other things outside of school. So like, how has the school shaped you for college? Not just you in general, but all of you guys that are here.
I miss y'all too. Icy, Ujwal, Emily. I miss all of y'all really, really, really a lot. When I come back for summer, I'm probably gonna have to stop by and visit all you guys. Well, you guys won't be there. Whenever I come back in town, you guys have school. I'll probably have to stop and see y'all. Shout out to Jade too. I want to see her too. She still goes. But the answer to that question from me would be, are you asking, did Cristo Rey prepare us academically for college? Is that the question, essentially?
Yeah, it could be academically or just like in general. How has Cristo Rey prepared you since it's a college prep school,
Yeah. I'd say academically, and this could just be my school because it's a public land grant HBCU, so it's not like super duper hard. Like the classes for me, my major too is like something I'm really interested in. So for me, my classes aren't really hard at all. So I'd say it definitely, I guess you could say it prepared me academically. But my AP class, both of my AP classes, junior and senior year, were harder than my classes now. So I would definitely say it prepared me for school. Academically wise, I didn't really get involved inside of too many like sports at Cristo Rey. I really just did track and field. And I wouldn't say, I don't think it really prepared me in any other aspect more than academically and like getting me a head start into the workforce for sure. But that's about it really.
Yeah, for me, I feel like the course load has been very much different from this year compared to last year, especially with a lot of things being online. I feel like our professors were more inclined to make assignments like group work or not too overloading us because we were already dealing with other things in our lives. Now with these exams, and it's just, I think no matter what school you go to, it's going to be overwhelming because we're not used to having to like sit and take 3-hour long exams unless you're in AP and you have to take one of those exams. But like on a consistent basis, always having to wake up that early and be ready to go and give it your best, even when you're not feeling it. There's not that option to stay home because the way that they grade is different. It's a completely different world academically. But I feel like it was good to have a little insight as to what course load could look like, how heavy it can get. And I feel like I did get that from Cristo Rey. As for other clubs and sports, I feel like no matter who you are, it's just going to depend on what you like. You don't really need things to necessarily prepare you for those because it's going to be different everywhere you go. Like as of now, I'm involved in like ASA, which is like the African Student Association. And that was something I just kind of fell into, and that had to do more with my culture and what I learned about that. And I had to educate myself on that. So I feel like there's a bunch of different things you can kind of get into without really even having to know too much of that. And that's what I did for a lot of the things that I got into this semester, which was a big difference from last semester or last year, because I barely was involved last year. And then this year was a whole nother beast.
This is Mr. Lofferswaller-Hanf with your Theology Minute.
This coming Wednesday is Ash Wednesday, the first day of Lent. Lent is a period of fasting and penance, where we remember Christ's sacrifice as we prepare for Holy Week and Easter, which is the holiest part of our calendar. Ash Wednesday is celebrated by many Christians around the world, including Catholics, Anglicans, Lutherans, and Methodists. On that day, we receive a sign of the cross on our foreheads with ashes, which is a reminder of this period of penance and also of our own mortality. As we approach the beginning of Lent, it's good to think about the ways that we can get closer to God and be more disciplined spiritually in our life with Him.
I'd say Cristo Rey, like being even this right now, the podcast definitely prepared me for. We have this thing. We have a radio station. We actually have the first student-ran radio station at my school, and I have a radio show on there. So I feel like the podcast, obviously the podcast prepared me for that aspect, like that club, of course. But we have ASA here too, which I feel like being that Cristo Rey Diversity kind of prepared me, I guess somewhat. But yeah, Breanna, that was a really good answer.
Hold on, I was gonna say I'm so excited. You have a podcast. Oh, I'm sorry, because that just reminded me that we're taking a podcast class right now, actually, for ethnography. And I'm so glad that you got to be a part of it, because I literally was bringing up how we were all involved in the podcast and how that prepared me to take the class, which is basically just analyzing different podcasts and like seeing the different techniques that they use in anthropology within it. I almost actually used our podcast to do that.
Mr. Corgan would be so proud of you guys. Let me just say that.
Oh, you're so sweet.
So sweet.
Okay, so Jaleyl, I'm curious. What do you do at the radio station?
Hey, Ujwal. So at the radio station, so there's actually, it's a group called PV, radio station. And in the radio station, I play the music, of course. And then I'm like, when the radio person comes on and they say, let me get my cue cards out so I can actually give you all a little rundown. I say, that was Beyonce Cuff It. This is Lil, and you are now listening to Dirt on the Hill with Lil. The next song up is Maverick City, All Praise Be to God. And then I play the music. And then like every 5, after every 2 songs, I go ahead and I do like, on my show, I bring people on and have them do like confessionals about like college life. And they can be like, we can mask their voice or not. Because like some people like to be unknown, anonymous, that's the word. But that's really it. It's so much fun. The president of the club, she goes to like premiere. She's like her major is in mass communication. So she's great. I've made a lot of great connections out here. So, and through that club. So yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. So you use like a radio voice when you talk, or do you just talk normally?
I don't know. I think this is my radio voice. No, I'm playing. I think I have a radio voice, but I I think everyone kind of does it. It's like natural. Like I think I've listened to the radio so much that like I feel like there is a certain type of voice you need to have. It's like, like an announcer voice kind of. Oh, and I also did the school announcements. I forgot about that. I did the school announcements at Cristo Rey too, so that prepared me for this too. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just I guess kind of.
You guys talking about like the podcast and the radio, that just leads me to wonder, if you guys were to come back to Cristo Rey for, let's say, like just one day, what is the main thing that you'd be excited to do?
Honestly, it's just the people. I feel like class of 2021 especially, because we got that COVID year where, we were literally hybrid mode. We were on and off. that class, we have such a strong bond, and I think we were one of the smallest classes there. Wait, Breanna, correct me if I'm wrong. We were like what, 60 people that graduated, right?
70 to 80, but I'm not sure.
30. Yeah, we were a little bit, and we were very close. Like we all knew each other so well, and I just feel like I would just want one day with all my classmates because we all were very united, and I feel like it would be nice to see where we were all at, just to have like one regular school day again. Like I don't know why, but once you graduate, for some reason you kind of, well, I don't know if that's the case for Jaleyl or Breanna, but I wish complaining about things that didn't even matter. Like I feel like we had it so much easier back then in high school. Like little problems seemed like the end of the world, but now thinking back on it, those were like my greatest memories with my friends. Like when we would just like, go, change, like go to a new class, when we were changing periods, we would go walking together to, Mr. Corrigan's history class or something. I just feel like having a regular day at school and just like being able to, be with my friends, I feel like I would do it all over again if I had the chance to do it one more day.
Hey everyone, Mr. Corrigan again. When I took over the podcast from Mr. Dybel, I was really fortunate to inherit such amazing hosts in Breanna, Rubi, and Nehemiah. Nehemiah? Don't worry, you'll hear from him later. Anyway, when I took over the podcast, those original hosts were seniors, so one of the first things I did was hold auditions for new hosts to join the team to ensure that the podcast could live on. I was actually very intimidated to take over the podcast, and yet I've been so lucky to find such great student hosts to help me, each of whom has added their own spin to the podcast. That first year, one of the first groups of students I added on were Daviana, a freshman, Martai, a sophomore, and Helen, a junior. You heard their voices in the episode montage at the beginning of this show. Unfortunately, these three left Cristo Rey before finishing their high school careers. But even though they weren't on the podcast for very long, I want to acknowledge their critical role in podcast history. Without their hard work in those early days, as we were all finding our feet, it's very, very possible that the podcast might have fizzled out forever. For that, I thank them very much. We like to say once a cougar, always a cougar, don't we? Well, it's true. And here to represent that special group is Helen.
Hello everybody, it's Helen here. Some of you may not know me, but I was once a very happy host of the Cristo Rey podcast, and I am now a freshman at The Ohio State University studying nursing, and I'm just here to congratulate the podcast for reaching 100 episodes, and I'm very, very happy to be part of this. And just some message that I would like to send to the students and the staff at Cristo Rey is that the Cristo Rey Columbus High School will be part of your history, and I can for sure say that I enjoyed my time there, and I'm grateful for the people that I met there and just the education that I gained there. And appreciate while you're there and just make the best out of it and be positive and enjoy your Cristo Rey family. Stay strong and finish the semester strong, and you guys are very loved.
It's funny because we haven't, or at least my friend group at the time, haven't talked in a little bit, and our friend sent a message in the group chat, and it was a vlog of like towards the end of I think it was the very last day of school, of us just like relaxing and finally letting go, and seeing the classroom felt so surreal. I was like, wow, we really sat that close to each other. We really were able to just kind of like get up and talk to each other without like feeling like we're disrupting the class, because there were like moments of peace. It's not like the class was continuous. Sometimes you'd be able to have little breaks here and there. And then compared to now, where it's just like the professor is talking, so it'd be rude to just kind of interrupt. Like you're expected to act like an adult, because even though you just like freshly turned 18 and you're just like new to college, you are officially an adult in their eyes. So you kind of have to like behave like one. And I feel like those expectations, I feel like it's different, because when you turn 18, you don't automatically feel that way. And that's just how you're kind of pushed to act or behave. And it was just nice being able to see ourselves in a more free environment, relaxed and not feeling like there was too much pressure. Even though in the moment, like Ruby said, it probably felt like there was a lot of things, small things that we were stressed out about. But at the end of the day, we were with each other. And I feel like we're not going to get that back, because you don't always, it's very rare to have that situation occur. So definitely being able to hang out with my friends, and this might sound cheesy, but definitely the podcast because during that time when there was nothing else to do and we had freshly like just started it with Mr. Jaleyl and was able to continue it with Mr. Corrigan, I feel like it was the one thing that I had that made me feel like I wasn't just a student. It made me feel like something more. It made me feel like I could do other things other than, take tests and, do work. It was nice.
You never know what you have until it's gone. And let me tell you, if me and Breanna, I remember the first podcast episode, because it was we started, me, Breanna, and Nehemiah with Mr. Jaleyl and Mr. Corrigan. I remember that when we did the first ever podcast, and I remember us being nervous. Like me and Breanna, we were nervous. We were like, what are we gonna talk about? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna say? But now looking back at that, it was such a genuine moment and pure. It was so beautiful because, we were just, having fun while doing it. And, now that, now we're not in high school no more, but to think back on it, that was probably, I bet Breanna could agree. It was probably one of the most innocent yet funnest things we've ever done because we had never had a podcast at Cristo Rey, and we were the first ones. And, it was so beautiful to start that. And we didn't think, I'm pretty sure we said that was going to be temporary. We were just doing a podcast because of COVID, and we're just giving the news out there, and it just turned into something more. And it's so nice to look back, and now that it's it's been keep on going, and that's really nice to see that we left a little something there.
Oh my gosh, Ruby, you're so right. It was so innocent. I made my friend from school listen to it, and just to like help her with their project and to give her some insight as to like what we were doing when I said I was in a podcast. And I remember I hear Ruby go, I think something about pizza. And I was like,
yes.
Cute. Like, it's so adorable. It really was supposed to be like temporary. It was just like, student council, let's just get on this. It was something brand new to Cristo Rey too, because I don't think we'd ever had a podcast. And all I know is that anything new, it excited me. So I was just ready. And you can hear how small our voices are. And to see that growth, it's like, it's sad, but it's also like very
bittersweet.
Yeah, at the same time. So I'm so happy that this is what it's kind of blown up into. And I'm just so happy to be given the opportunity. That was beautiful.
It was.
As a senior, y'all got me about to cry. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I gonna be looking back at the podcast like this? Like, it sounds so sad.
It is kind of so. Now that you're a senior, enjoy what you have it.
Exactly.
You will miss it. I mean, the beautiful thing is that Mr. Corrigan has saved all the episodes, so I still have my Cristo Rey email. And whenever I just want to have a good laugh, I go to that very first podcast because it's so cringy. It is so cringy. It's so funny because we were just that nervous that we stuttered the whole way through.
There's no lies. I literally
except Breanna. Breanna she was an expert, like right then and there. That's why she was president for Cristo Rey, because she knew what she was doing.
So hype me up too much. No. I was nervous. I'm telling you. You just can't see it there. Maybe I was just rushing through it. Don't worry. But don't tell them my secret, okay, guys?
Hey guys, it's Jade. It's the 100th episode of the Cristo Rey podcast. It was the first club I joined when I got to Cristo Rey, and I feel like I've really grown because of it. I'm able to voice my opinions, and I really came out of my shell. The podcast opened so many doors for me, and hearing others' advice and talking with people on their views really makes it a positive experience. I mean, I have responsibilities now. I work with a great team of co-hosts, and I feel that it is shaping me into a responsible person. There's still so much for me to learn, but for right now, I'm just so grateful for my co-host and Mr. Corrigan, of course.
You guys were definitely like the OG podcast members were like, you guys set the standard for what was to come. Like, I feel like after that, the years to come, everyone else was like, we have to follow this mode. You guys were the it group of the podcast for sure.
Jaleyl, but you brought that pizzazz, because I remember when you joined the podcast. I mean, that's the wonderful thing about the podcast, because you get new people and, everyone has their, their shine, their spotlight. Everyone brings something new to the table. And I loved that last year that we got to have new members on the podcast, because you guys have like your own personalities and you guys really do shine through. Like, through your words and how you guys express yourself. It's just so beautiful. So I feel like to the people that are now in the podcast now, like you guys just be yourselves, honestly. Like you enjoy the moments that you have because, you know, life goes fast. It really does. And right now, I don't know if you guys are rushing to get out of high school, but, you know, it really is the most beautiful years that you have, truly. I mean, it will be beautiful afterwards too, but you know, more responsibilities, you know. So just enjoy what you know, guys are in the podcast.
Yeah, I was about to say I could not have said it better. And I think, like Lily was saying, like I can see how adding your own like sparkle, everything that you did to bring to the podcast, I can see how you're doing it in college, even as you speak about it now. And I feel like that's what's so cool. The way we talk, the way we like act, we can see how that shine, that thing that makes you yourself, adds to your personality, and you get to share that with everybody else. So I know at your school, you're probably just bringing that shine to everybody. And I can't wait for the rest of you all to do that too, because I can hear it in your voices as you ask us these lovely questions.
Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all really, 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 really so much. I appreciate that, both Ruby and Breanna. I'm not sure if y'all had any more questions for us, because I kind of wanted to surprise and flip it on y'all and ask y'all some questions about Cristo Rey, if y'all was cool with that. And also I have a question for you too, Ruby.
No, you're scaring me now.
But is that cool with y'all?
Yeah,
host?
that's fine.
I'm cool with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. For y'all, what is Cristo Rey like now? Like, what do y'all, because, you know, I left 2022, you know, that class, but y'all, you know, we were still going through like some COVID protocols when I was there. What do y'all think has changed the most, you know, since I've left, I guess, or since 2020, the 2022 class has left?
To be honest, I'd say it probably got more strict because we're not allowed to have our phones and stuff out anymore. So I'd say Cristo Rey has changed a lot, and I feel like it shifts a lot more every semester than it probably did before, because it's like these huge, like we have like announcements and stuff, and they do like these announcements, and it's like they go through a lot of the stuff that they change every single quarter, and they have like incentives and stuff now. It's weird because first semester we were supposed to be doing we're supposed to be keeping track of like all of our homework and stuff in our little notebooks that they gave us, in our little tracker thingies. I forgot what they're called. And this semester they're incentivizing notes, so we have to take like proper notes for all classes and stuff. So it's like, I guess it's pretty different. I'd say it's actually pretty good, to be honest, because I feel like Cristo Rey itself is such a new school and everything. And when you consider that, it's like, I feel like Cristo Rey as a school is like trying to find an identity. And I think it is like going towards an identity now, because it's like, if they keep this thing up where like every semester they incentivize like a different portion of our student life, you know, and it's like, that's really helpful for all students and stuff, because it's like, I feel like not a lot of our teachers really did incentivize taking notes, and now it is like something that's mandatory or something that they have to do, and they have to put in effort as well. And I like that the school is forcing the teachers as well to like, you know, adapt and teach us in ways in the things that we don't know about, because I feel like not a lot of students do know that much about note taking and this stuff. And it's like, you're not just learning one type of note taking, you're learning it from so many different classes. So it's like you're learning a Cornell, you're learning how to do it yourself. And it's like, if you're doing this for a whole semester, by the end of it, you're going to be pretty good at taking notes, you know. And because of those reasons, because the school is trying to find an identity while also helping its students, I think overall it's a good thing that like this is happening, you know. Maybe it is a little bit more strict than it was before, but I think for my education, it's worth it.
Nishan, you are so smart. Like, I'm not going to lie. While you were talking, I was thinking, like, what grade are you in, if you don't mind me asking?
Thank you. I'm a junior.
Yeah. Don't forget about me. No, I'm playing. You're really smart, though. I can tell just by how you, like, talk. And, like, I didn't even think about, like, the identification of the school. I would think in my head that would have been done through, like, work study. But, like, the fact that you even brought that up, that's such a different way to even look at something that, you know, something as, you know, becoming more strict or something to that magnitude as like an identification point. That's an interesting way of looking at it, for sure.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Hey everyone, this is Miss Wise, music teacher here. What you are hearing in the background is an arrangement of the traditional spiritual Elijah Rock, one of the most famous arrangements by... Oh, wait a second. I'm not going to tell you that right away. Why, you ask? Well, it's time for the African American Historical Heroes Challenge, brought to you by your local SMATH department. And if you've forgotten what that means, SMATH stands for Social Studies, Music, Art, PE, and Health. Now, can you be the first student in your grade level to email Mr. Corrigan with a 2-sentence description of the impact of the following historical figure? Today's category is music, of course. All right, here it goes. The African American historical hero for today is Moses Hogan. If you are the first student in your grade level to email Mr. Corrigan with an accurate description of this famous musician, you will earn 3 points in any SMATH class. Good luck, Cougars!
I've been keeping my eye. I have some people there, and I heard that you can't have your phones around. I feel like our class, we didn't really have that, did we, Bree? But we do not promote I repeat, I do not promote using your phones in class, okay? But we didn't really have that strictness in our class, I think.
Yeah, I don't think they were strict about it, but we definitely we weren't allowed to have our phones for real. Like we weren't allowed. Like if they saw you, they would say something. But I don't think they were they would give you a warning if you know.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Nishan. Like now, if they see your phone or really any electronic besides the Chromebook, like it's no questions asked, they take it away immediately. And like that includes I've seen people get their AirPods or their Beats taken away too, without hesitation. And it definitely has changed a lot. But overall, it's a lot less restrictions now for COVID wise. The mask mandate, in the school, kids are still allowed to wear masks if they want to, and they're recommended to wear masks if they come in, with a sore throat or whatever. And I like that because I personally didn't like the masks because you guys wouldn't be able to see them, but pimples would show up all over my face, and it did not look great on me when I got home and I had to take off the mask, and my mom would just be like, "Oh my gosh, your face!" It was not great for me.
So that was really the only question I really did have for y'all. I'm not gonna lie. But my question I have for Rubi, which is a very important question to me, I wanted to ask, how can people help DACA recipients? I feel like people listening need to know. I need to know, how can we support DACA recipients, period?
Well, honestly, from what I've done my research, just honestly reposting, there's not much that we can do. I mean, there is just such a heavy topic when it comes to our Congress right now. We're very divided as a country right now, and it's just a matter of advocacy, advocating for anyone that you guys may know that are DACA recipients right now. It's just been such a big difficult time for us. The people that already have DACA right now, that are already in the system and have been approved and are currently going in school and are working here, they are at a limbo, because they're not even sure if, one day, a lot of them already have families and have their careers set out. Many of them are already lawyers and doctors and whatnot. And, just looking at the importance, doing your research, because, this is affecting a lot of people, that already have families, and, just supporting and, writing to Congress. This is why I get sometimes upset, because a lot of people that, they already are 18 years old, to vote, especially in I think the primary elections where we're voting for, our senators and, Congress. A lot of people don't go vote, and this does really affect especially your community, because people like me, I graduated Cristo Rey. I haven't been able to go to school, so just really finding the importance in certain things, and not not lacking of information. Is good to have to be informed, and think of others, because it does affect your peers. I don't know if there's DACA recipients currently in Cristo Rey, if there's any students there that are, and trust me, it is a difficult time, because you live in such uncertainty. So just checking up on your peers if you guys are aware if they are in the process of DACA, because it is a very difficult process. It's very hard, especially like in my case, because I've already been in it for 2 years. During my 4 years in Cristo Rey, a lot of people didn't know, but I was the only, again, I think I've said this, I was the only one in my class, and a lot of my peers didn't know. But some of them did, and thankfully I had that support. But it was just such a rough 4 years for me personally, because I wasn't certain if I was going to be able to go to school, and that question was always in my head, am I going to be able to school? What am I going to do when I graduate? And even when senior year came around, a lot of people were already filling out. I was able to apply to many schools, and I guess I got accepted to all of my schools that I wanted to go to. But I wasn't able to go, and so just having a good support system is very important. And if you guys are, aware of any people, or if any of your classmates are in that in that situation, just being there for them, because it might have to sadly go after, that situation might still be there even after they graduate. That's been my case.
What up, what up, what up? Hey guys, this is Nehemiah Clayton, Cristo Rey Columbus graduate. It is really exciting to be here with you guys again. Congratulations first and foremost for the Cristo Rey's 100th episode. I'm so glad to have been part of the start with my fellow co-hosts in Breanna and Rubi. It's really an ambitious goal of ours during COVID, and I'm glad to see that it's got to continue, both under the leadership of Mr. Dybel, who you guys don't even know nowadays, but shout out to Mr. Dybel, and to the great leader himself, Mr. Corrigan. Shout out to him for all the work that he's been doing to keep the podcast alive. I just really want to spend my time here to say, I'm proud of each and every one of you on this podcast, but I'm also proud of the listeners, because without the listeners, we would not have had the podcast to begin with. Just a quick check-in. I'm doing pretty well in college right now. I attend Loyola Marymount University. And honestly, moving out to California was a big move, but it's definitely been a decision that I have been really excited for the last 2 years. I'm working hard. I'm still living the cougar life. I'm really proud of the high school experience that I had, and I'm really glad that I chose to attend Cristo Rey. Thank you.
Just really get yourself informed, really take it serious, especially when you guys, to the seniors this year, after you graduate, really get yourself informed, especially about what's going on in your community, because, your voice does make the difference. It really does, and really, advocating for others as well, because what affects one affects many, people that are in DACA, we really do want to go to school and help out. Just get yourself informed and be there for your peers, to be honest. And, I don't say none of this to get any, pity, because, I know for myself, and that's just in life in general, God puts you, my faith, we all come from different backgrounds, but my faith, I know that God has put me in the situation for a reason, and that's just in life in general. Sometimes you're going to be placed in situations that you never thought you would have to go through. I have faith that hopefully soon there's going to be answers for me. My plan, I didn't say this to you guys, but I'm hopefully going to start in August at Columbus State. I did my research. I was able to go meet with some people at Columbus State, and there's actually some scholarships that are DACA friendly. So hopefully if I can, get enough scholarships, I could be able to take some credit hours. So, just, keep me in your prayers for that. Hopefully I will be able to, start somewhere, because I already wasted 2 years, but it's not time wasted, because I was able to learn a lot. Maybe it matured me even.
Thank you so much for answering that question for me, Ruby.
You're good. I was just gonna say, I already told you this, Ruby, but I'm just so very proud of you. And I know, even going through high school, it was probably very hard to hear other people talk about college when that wasn't a certainty for you. So I feel like it takes a lot of strength and a lot of power to be able to navigate that, push through, and you were always smiling and happy. And I feel like that's not something just anybody could do. So I feel like you should be very, very proud of yourself. And I was just wondering if you're able to share, even just you said, it's definitely not 2 years wasted. How did you navigate through those 2 years? If you're willing to share, what were you able to do? Were you able to learn a little more, or even learn something about yourself? I don't know. I just kind of wanted to hear more about that.
Thank you, Breanna. That made me so happy to hear you say that. I'm really happy that even Jaleyl asking me that question because I did want to bring some light to this, but I don't know. It's been hard, These past 2 years were just honestly a learning curve for me, It wasn't the easiest. But what I found out really fast for me, in my opinion, I feel like I was placed in a situation where I kind of have to learn what true patience is. And I've been able to, I'm not going to lie to you guys and say that a lot of things do come from, uncertainty. Mental health is a big thing. I struggled a lot with my mental health because, imagine already having to live in certain situation, then that kind of sometimes if you let it get to you, that reflects onto you as a person. For a while at the beginning, I got uncertain of everything, of everything I've ever known. I was just very uncertain about even myself, but thankfully I was able to have a good support system around me. And what I've learned that I got to know myself extremely well these past 2 years, which I don't know. Sometimes I feel like that's the only way you get to grow. You have to learn. I learned quickly that you have to be comfortable of being uncomfortable. And a lot of people run away from that. And, for me, it wasn't even a choice. I kind of had to suck it up and go through this and really sit with myself and get to know myself. And growth can be painful sometimes. And I learned that, maybe this was honestly a blessing of disguise because a lot of people go in their 20s and even further in life not knowing themselves because, it's hard to sometimes be by yourself. It's sometimes hard to truly, fix things about yourself that a lot of people postpone those things that are crucial to your growth. And I kind of had to do it, I was like, you know what? And this time I'm just going to use this to my advantage and really navigate myself and who I want to be in life.
Hey guys, it's Rebecca, and I'm just doing a little bit of reflection right now over these 100 episodes, which is so crazy to think about because it feels like yesterday I had just tried out to be on the podcast, and now we have 100 episodes, so the time goes pretty fast. I'm just so thankful for all of the opportunities I've been able to have on the podcast. I've been able to work with so many different hosts. Every host brings such a unique perspective, unique little touch that they add to the podcast, like their signature thing that they always do, or just the way they talk, the way they ask their question, the questions they ask. Sometimes I'm with someone, another host, and I'm just like, wow, I did not think of that question. I'm just so thankful of all the people we've been able to sit down with and really get to know them. For you guys, for us, either it's an organization or students, like at the student panel, or teachers, or people out of school. Like, I'm just so thankful I've had the opportunity to either sit down with them, talk to them, provide information that maybe you guys want to hear, or information that you didn't know you wanted to hear, but you were like, oh, okay, that's really cool to know about. I'm just really thankful for all of those opportunities I've been able to have. And I'm also really thankful for all the people behind the scenes. Mr. Corrigan, obviously, with all of his planning, he put so much work into the podcast, and all of the editing crew over the past years that have been able to make us sound really good. Even when we're not sounding pretty good, they always make sure that everything looks nice, that everything looks good. I'm just thankful that you guys been able to listen to us over the years, especially me. I'm really thankful that you guys have given me the opportunity to flourish and continue to hear me and my perspective. I hope you guys continue to listen to us, continue to support us. Thank you guys.
I realized that I don't trust myself enough and a bunch of other things, and slowly but surely I feel like I've gotten a lot of character. Now I know that I am a strong person and I can get through a lot of things because going through this kind of makes you a mentally stronger person. And I wouldn't honestly trade this situation for nothing in the world. I think this was meant to happen to me. I just feel like I'm very grateful because I don't know, for other people, I feel like a lot of people that I know, they kind of run away from themselves and just feel like I didn't have that choice but it was a blessing for me because now I feel like I'm very secure in myself and that I will be able to make myself out of something. I know that one day I will be able to use this to tell people, I was able to go through this and that, and I still got to where I wanted to be. I got to my dream, and that's still the hope. I hope that I will get to that place one day. That timing is not now, but I have faith in God and truly tested my faith a lot. I have faith in Him, and I know that He will place me at His perfect timing where I have to be at. And, so that's just really what it taught me. Faith, and I got to know myself, like the real Ruby, step into the adult version of myself, which, I'm glad to have let go of, the immature Ruby Sella. Now I'm like, I feel like more confident in myself. Sorry if that was a long explanation. It's just that this is a very sensitive topic, and I feel like I haven't shared this with no one. And if I could help someone, especially in school right now, a student from Cristo Rey, like, I just hope you guys know that you guys will get through it, and that everything can be, anything that might seem to destroy you, I promise you it's going to be probably the most beautiful blessing afterwards. Anything bad can be turned into your biggest testimony and your biggest blessing in your life. So keep pushing. I'm rooting for all of you guys.
No, Ruby, that was so beautiful. I'm so, so proud, and congrats. You got this, and I can't wait to see it all happen.
I think it's incredible how much value you got from those 2 years. And thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I agree, man. Your story is amazing for sure, Ruby.
Thank you. And I appreciate you guys asking me. That made me feel like a weight off, probably sharing. Maybe I needed to share this or something.
Thank you so much, Ruby, for sharing. And, just to wrap up this very special podcast, I mean, all of our podcasts are special, but, since we have some alumni and people who were part of the podcast, I was wondering if you guys could share with us your favorite interview or your favorite podcast episode in general.
Wait, that's so good. That's such a good question. I had to think about it because we had so many good interviews with a lot of special professionals. I'll go with our Nurse Ross's interview because she's the OG. And I feel like having her on really just made me feel like we were going to be okay. Going into this podcast, we were going to be fine. And everybody was going to be willing and open to share. And I feel like she was just the perfect person to start this all off with. Very kind, very open. I will go with that one.
My favorite podcast, and I know you guys are gonna, and at least Breanna and Jaleyl will know. Do you guys remember the last podcast with Mr. Jaleyl, Mr. Corrigan of the Star Wars song that they sang together? It made me cry. The ending was so sad, and I was sobbing, and that was my favorite one. Do you know which one I'm talking about, Bree?
Yes. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna say mine is still my favorite. I can't even say close. That was really good. Lyrical geniuses.
I'm not sure if Mr. Corrigan has it, but I hope he can share that podcast with you guys. But there was a teacher named Mr. Dibble, and they had the biggest bromance that Cristo Rey has ever seen. They loved each other. They were both history teachers, and they made a song, and it was beautiful because that's when Mr. Dibble was leaving Cristo Rey, and that's when, they broke up. So that was such a heartbreaking moment. I hope the bromance is still going strong, Mr. Corrigan.
Yes, so actually, for our Christmas podcast this year, Mr. Dibble, he came back, and we did a skit, we did this really great podcast with him. I think you guys should listen to it. It's our most recent Christmas podcast, and it's really funny.
Are you guys able to send that to us?
Yes, I would really love that, please.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely send that to you guys. Oh my gosh, it was so funny listening to it. It was really cringe, but it's so funny.
Actually, on that note, if you want to look at any podcast we've done over all of these years, you can go to the Cristo Rey YouTube channel. It has every single podcast from the first one to this one, the latest one, or what will now be the latest one. If you ever want to go check it out, go look up Cristo Rey Columbus High School on YouTube, and you can see everything.
Hey everyone, I'm Ava Britford. I was previously the student council president as well as a podcast host, and I'm tuning in to Cristo Rey's 100th podcast episode. I'd just like to congratulate the podcast team as well as Mr. Corrigan for creating such a dynamic podcast, specifically for Cristo Rey. Continue being amazing, everyone, and I hope 2023 treats you amazingly. Bye!
That was very nice, Ava. Hold on now, Bill, before you go. You mentioned you were class president. That reminds me of a podcast fun fact. Did you know that every year since the podcast began, someone who was a podcast host as a junior one year has been elected student council president as a senior the next year? It's true. Breanna was president in the 2020 to 2021 school year. Ava was president in the 2021 to 2022 school year. And current podcast host Rebecca is president this year. That being said, it seems appropriate for Ava to tell us a little something about what's happening on Monday.
This Monday is President's Day, so I just wanted to say...
Hold on. Stop the show.
Mr. Corrigan, look, I'm trying to do something here.
I know everyone calls the third Monday in February President's Day, but did you know its official name is actually... Start the music. Washington's birthday.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Hardly anyone ever calls it that, though. Why is that, you ask?
I didn't.
Well, funny story. Washington's birthday is also a state holiday in most states, and the day has different names depending on what state you are in. In fact, there are 14 different versions of the name. Isn't that crazy?
You don't say.
In Maine, the day is called Washington's birthday / President's
I'm
Day.
sorry, everyone.
Virginia,
You know how he
Washington
gets
Day.
sometimes.
Arizona,
When he
it's
tires
Lincoln
himself
Washington
out, I'll tell him
President's
to just
Day.
send an
Montana,
email on
it's
Monday
Lincoln's
with all this
Washington's
information for
birthday.
anyone who actually
In
cares.
Utah, it's Washington Lincoln's Day. And you know what they call it in California? Do you?
Please stop.
The third Monday in February.
Okay, that's totally weird. Happy third Monday in February, everyone.
Jaleyl, you haven't answered the question yet. What was your favorite interview / podcast?
I believe it was Miss Muchler. If y'all didn't know this, but y'all probably did it last September. Miss Muchler was actually she was in New York during 9/11. So it was really interesting just hearing her thoughts on like what happened and a real life in the moment type of vibe. Yeah, I love that. And I just love Miss Muchler, period. So I like that show for sure.
All right. Well, again, thank you guys so much for joining us. We're so happy that we got to have you guys here today. We're so happy that you guys were able to take time out of your studying and, time of your day just to be here with us. It's a great honor, especially me, Breanna and Rubi. I listened to the first ever podcast episode that you guys did, and I thought it was awesome. And listening to it after I heard that there was a podcast, it made me want to join it, and it was just really great.
Oh, you listened to that episode. That's so sweet. Thank you.
Goodness. Oh, wow. So you know our voices.
I kind of recognize you because I recognized when Mr. Corkin said oh yeah, Breanna and Rubi are also coming, and I was like, oh yay, I get to meet the very first originals, and that's so great.
Oh my goodness,
Breanna, we're kind of feeling a little famous right now.
You know what I'm saying? I don't need this. I don't need this in my head. I'm good, thank you.
Okay, but you guys are better than I was, so
No.
don't give us so much credit.
Right. You guys are doing amazing. And I'm just so glad that this is a platform that you guys have now. So if that's what this started, I would do it all over again.
And also, I just wanted to let you guys know that you guys left a legacy for us. And I feel like starting this podcast does not only benefit us, but it also benefits all the other students that yet to come. And it's, I guess, a legacy that you guys left behind, and we're so thankful for that. So just wanted to put that out there.
We're thankful that you guys decided to join because a lot of people podcasts, everyone's listening to you at school. So it takes a lot of courage, and we're very proud of you guys that decided to step up, take on this project. Not easy, I know that sometimes you can get a little bit nervous. So kudos to you guys because you guys are actually doing the thing. You know what I mean? So, you guys just keep pushing and believe in yourselves, and you guys are honestly doing great. And I hope you guys keep inviting us because I'll be sad the day that you guys don't invite us.
Literally exactly what Ruby said. You guys are making my heart melt, but this is so sweet. And I feel it does take a lot to be able to come up here. I still have teachers who come and tell me, I remember when you're on the podcast and you said this or this. And I was like, oh my goodness, you heard that. I thought I was just talking to myself, but no, that was not the case. Other people can hear you. And I know you guys understand that. And this is going to pave the way for you. So I'm excited that you guys get to be a part of this. And I get to come back every year and meet you guys all and see how you're doing and see what's going on in Cristo Rey. So thank you guys for inviting us.
Oh, well, it was definitely a pleasure. And just to add on, not only is it people to listen, but it's also a place for you to come back and listen, your old self, I guess. I know at the beginning of the podcast, we always tell dear future me type of thing. And it's just so amazing because here I'll listen to the one that I did before and then the one that I did this year and just see how much I have have grown or how much I have accomplished during those years. I don't know, guess like a memory that you could always come back to and be like, that was me. Oh, well, that goal that I had, I did accomplish it. You know, it's just a little memory lane or something like that.
I'm just so glad I got to be a part of it. I'm so glad that when I did my interview, because it was Mr. Corrigan and it was Ava, she did the interview with me. And I remember her predominantly because she was the president. Like she was president, and I was super nervous. I'm so glad like you guys have me here. I'm so glad I got to meet you, Ruby and Breanna. Like I love listening to you guys. Like I have that your guys' season on like religiously.
Oh, wait, are you? Oh, that's so sweet.
No, I'm being serious. Like I listen to it when I'm cooking or cleaning or something like that.
Oh no.
Oh, this made my day. That didn't think no one would listen back to us.
No, really. I was like fully expecting it to just be our year, and that's no, that's the sweetest thing. You're literally making my entire year. Thank you so much for listening, and I'm so glad you joined. Like, I can tell you're an asset. You all are assets, and you all sound amazing. Like, keep it up. You got it.
All right. Like I said, thank you guys so much for joining us for this very special podcast episode. And I hope all the audience out there enjoyed our 100th episode special. This is the Cristo Rey podcast, tuning out. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Podcast, Cristo Rey podcast, the Cristo Rey podcast.
This thing on? Testing. This is Mr. Dybel hacking into the Cristo Rey podcast.
Oh, no, you don't. This is Mr. Corrigan hacking into Mr. Dybel, hacking into the Cristo Rey podcast. Ha! I'm going to stop whatever nefarious scheme you have up your sleeve this time, Dybel.
Nefarious scheme? No, I'm not evil anymore. Remember, we made amends at Christmas. Don't you remember?
Well, yeah, that's what I thought, but then, if that's true, what's with the Darth Vader music? That always signals you're up to something no good.
Nope, no evil plan. I just really like the tune.
Oh.
And it's called the Imperial March, not the Darth Vader music, actually.
Sorry.
It's a common mistake.
Anyway, I don't like it. It just sort of freaks me out, okay? So can we cut the music, please? Oh, okay, thanks. Okay, well, since we're friends again, what are you doing here, old buddy, old pal?
Well, I just thought I'd stop by and wish you and your podcast team over there a warm congratulations on 100 episodes. That's just a really impressive achievement and something that you guys should all be very proud of. And students putting in that much time and effort into something that really, I can tell, helps keep the Cristo Rey community together and invested in one another. Really just job well done.
You know, Mr. Dybel, I really do appreciate you saying that. And you do bring up a great point about all the work students put into the podcast. Obviously, there's the on-air hosts, but this is a great time to acknowledge the amazing team of behind-the-scenes crew, too. Currently, Carlos, Rhodas, Tiara, Andy, and Dorcas. And we can't forget Caitlin, Tion, Mara, Breanna, and Sophia from previous years. Also, I want to give an extra big shout-out to Cristo Rey Columbus's marketing and operations director, Miss Truitt, who has truly become my partner in crime in getting the podcast out every week. And, of course, none of this would have been possible without you, Mr. Dybel. What I mean is, if you're still listening and you don't know, I want to remind us that Mr. Dybel actually started the podcast way back when. And since you are here, it actually might be interesting for the audience to hear how you came up with the idea in the first place and how you got started.
Well, it's a kind of an interesting story. We, I think my last year at Cristo Rey, the student council had an idea of trying to do something where students could kind of share stories and communicate with one another about their lives in an informal way that we could share across the school, but nothing really ever got off the ground until COVID hit, and we had to kind of retreat back to our homes. Once we found out the school wasn't going to reopen in person, I actually came back up here to Buffalo, New York, where I am now. Once we were all kind of isolated at home, and some of the officers of the student council suggested, maybe we could do something like a podcast because we're all not able to be together in person and kind of desperate for things to do and share some time with one another. So we started putting together a podcast, and an initial kind of big impulse or component of the podcast was to help kids get information about what was happening. I mean, a lot of us don't necessarily remember, or maybe we don't at first remember, how uncertain that first phase of the pandemic was and how scary it was, honestly, to not really know what was happening or how the situation was going to be resolved. And so we would bring on the school nurse at the time, Nurse Ross, to offer her thoughts on healthy practices and how to keep you and your family safe during the crisis. And we also made time to talk about a lot of different things that students were anxious about, not just about the pandemic, but we talked about college and personal finance and transitioning out of school. And for a lot of the student council officers who were seniors, that was the stuff that they would have done in those last couple months of school, is get ready to be on their own. And so we kind of used the podcast to just sort of informally have those conversations. I remember we had your sister on, Mr. Corrigan, to talk about college admissions and things like that. And so, those were kind of where the initial impulse for the podcast started. Over time, it really, for me, was personally just a really great way to stay connected. I felt a little isolated, both geographically and interpersonally, from the school and from students. And as it was my last year, I felt like, I kind of faded into the wilderness a little bit. And it really did help us to kind of bring a community together and share some stories. All that being said, our podcast was far more rudimentary, I think, than what it has become, which is a testament to you and the team of students now, that you guys have really taken the idea and the sort of thing we threw together to keep ourselves sane during COVID and turned it into a really great institution of student activity and engagement at the school.
Well, that's really interesting. That's kind of you to say, of course, so humble. I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit. The idea had to come from somewhere. It wouldn't be here if you hadn't had this idea. As you say, you were fading into the wilderness, perhaps. It would have been easy to just say, well, it's COVID. People are busy. I'm leaving anyway. The fact that you created this whole project in those final moments, is actually really amazing. Speaking and of course, you haven't faded into the wilderness. You still have a good communication going on with the school. But tell us a little, what's going on with you? Since you left Cristo Rey, what's your life been like? What have you been doing? Hopefully, not actually living in the wilderness. Hopefully, that was a metaphor.
No, there are times where I wish I was, certainly. But so I left Cristo Rey to pursue my PhD. It was always a dream of mine to go back to school and get that degree and do some historical research. And so since then, I've completed all my coursework and exams for my doctorate. I'm here at Binghamton University in upstate New York, and I'm pursuing a PhD in history, where I study early American history. And specifically, I actually study the history of education in a lot of ways. I look at how during and after the American Revolution, the extent to which the government of the United States tried to engage with learning as a larger social and political process, sort of where we got the idea of civic education and what it means. So that's sort of my trajectory in terms of the research that I do. At the same time, I'm also teaching college classes at Binghamton. Just wrapped up a course on the history of education in the United States, offering a course of readings and discussions in the stuff that I study. So I've been doing a lot of that, which has been great. Doesn't compare to teaching at Cristo Rey, though. Still my fondest memories of working with all of the students there and all of my wonderful colleagues. So I definitely miss that all the time. But yeah, so I'm hoping to one day finish this dissertation, which is kind of your last big project when you're pursuing a PhD. And after that, hoping to teach college and keep working in the world of education and history and all that good stuff.
No, that's great. As much as I love early American history, I mean, that's a great topic to study. What about your personal life? Anything exciting going on in that personal life, or is it all early American history all day long?
Yeah, I suppose I probably should have led with this. And no, in May, I'm going to be getting married to my wonderful fiance, Elizabeth. And we're super excited to start our life together here in Buffalo, and have known each other for a very long time. And so finally able to get together, and we are looking forward to a great celebration in the spring and a wonderful life together.
That's great. All grown up. Mr. Dybel, all grown up. You mentioned missing Cristo Rey. What are your favorite memories of Cristo Rey?
Oh man, where to even begin? I think that I feel like the best moments of any school, but Cristo Rey in particular, the culture of the school really just helps to build these moments where everybody looks at each other and says, you know what, we got to figure this out, and we got to work together, and we got to make it work. This is students, faculty, staff, parents, community members. it's just the spirit of collaboration is really what I think sets the school apart in a lot of ways, in my memories of figuring it out as we went along and trusting each other, both, as teachers, trusting students and vice versa. I mean, I came on in the 4th year of the school when I remember the principal at the time said essentially we had to come up with, what do we do senior year? And so from that point on, it was a lot of trial and error, and on my part, probably more errors than successes. But I think just those moments where we had to decide we wanted to do something and take the leap. I mean, you and I are frequent conversations throughout the day of, we said was curriculum development, but was often just nerding out over the presidency of Martin Van Buren. But even in those moments, we came up with things like our mock constitutional convention, which I always thought was a great couple of days, where we had the AP Gov students pretend to be delegates to the constitutional convention, and the AP US history students had to interview them and write articles about it. And those kinds of collaborative lessons in the classroom and things like that, you don't get that at a lot of schools, and you don't get that at in a lot of professions. And so being able to have those folks who you always turn to, and we did it outside of the classroom too. I mean, I remember when Mr. Shoemaker, who's long gone by now, I'm sure, but a good friend of ours, he brought an organization called Junior State of America to the school, and they had all sorts of conferences, and he asked myself and Mr. Wynn, the former college counselor, and I think he's still the soccer coach there, if I'm not mistaken.
And track too.
Oh, well, we'll get there. Don't worry.
Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah.
But Shoemaker and Wynn and I had to drive kids to DC, and I went to college in DC, so we did a evening monuments tour where they got to actually meet some of my old compatriots. Not just the monuments. There was a friend of mine from college, but really, my friends were, the statues of the people for sure. But we went to DC, and that trip was so much fun and really cool to see students just dive in. I think that's one of my favorite things about the extracurriculars we did, whether it was that or when I helped with, other things around Columbus, when we would take kids to events. And Cristo Rey students are always the first to raise their hands, the first to ask questions, the first to dive into those experiences. And I always love that about the students at the school. And yeah, to your point, one of the other things that I feel like I helped sort of get off the ground in a very small way was our track and cross country programs. Miss Muchler helped start the cross country team and asked me to jump on as an assistant coach, and driving into the wilderness of Ohio and taking kids to cross country races, and Mr. Wynn and I working with her for the track team as well. You have students who had never been on a track team or never been runners, and to work with them and see those skills develop. And I'll never forget, because of COVID, our spring athletic season was canceled by last year. But the year before I left, the last track meet of the season, we ended up winning. And I remember we took, I had one distance runner who came in first place in all of her events. And I just remember the whole team rallying around her, and the whole girls track team just taking away the competition and working together after all those years of building a program and seeing it pay off. And like I said, I think that's what stands out the most, is the spirit of everybody working together and figuring it out together. And I just think that is definitely what sets Cristo Rey apart.
No, I mean, I'm just, you talking brings back so many memories. Somebody who's still here. You do think back, and I remember, you and me, we'd be walking down the hallway, right? And then, here comes Shoemaker, right? And then Mr. Wynn, right? And we'd be wandering the halls up to no good, or hopefully up to something good, trying to figure out something that in the moment, maybe not realizing we were set a part of something bigger, right? It's our 10th year as a school, and there's a lot of reflection going on about that. And personally, I believe, whether you've been here the whole 10 years, shout out to Miss Devering, by the way, she's the only one. Right. The rest of us came a little bit later. Whether you've been here that whole time or just a short time, there really is something about this place that binds people together in a really special way.
Once a cougar, always a cougar. Isn't that what we say?
They do say that. We say that. Yes. And, actually, really, I really do want to thank you for creating the podcast. Seriously, because for me, if I'm hoping it can do nothing else, I hope it can keep these friendships alive. Honestly, I think it's kind of magical. We had Breanna, Rubi, Jaleyl, right? And they can sit down, these graduates, right? And they can sit down with Naomi. She's our freshman on the podcast, for example, right? They can sit down with her, and they can have a conversation, and they can create a bond that might not have been possible otherwise, right? Without the podcast, without that idea. So I do want to thank you very sincerely, honestly, for having the foresight to create it. Yes, you heard right. I actually complimented Mr. Dybel. So make note of the date and time, because it's probably never going to happen again.
Yeah, I mean, I probably deserve maybe 2% of that. Thank you. But you're right about the podcast keeping friendships alive as well. I mean, my appearances over the years have helped us keep in touch.
Well, that's true. Although I guess you spent most of the time actually trying to kill me, but it's nice to know you were thinking of me, I guess.
At least I was there.
That's true. All this talk about friendship and bygone days, it does remind me of something. It reminds me of a song.
Oh, no.
No. Listen. Do you remember when Ruby said her favorite podcast episode was the last one that we did together when you were still a teacher here, and we sang a song at the end? Do you remember it?
You expect me to remember some song we sang one time, like 3 years ago, just off the top of my head like that?
Well, do you?
Of course.
Like the wallpaper sticks to the wall.
Like the seashore clings to the sea.
Like you're never getting rid of your shadow, Mr. Dybel. Now you're never getting rid of me.
Let all the others fight and fuss. Whatever happens, we've got us.
We're closer than pages that stick in a book. We're closer than ripples that play in a brook. Wherever you'll find him, you'll find me. Just look. Closer than a millennial to her bandwidth, or Kim Jong-un with his sandwich me.
We're closer than smog is when it comes to LA. We're closer than Jay-Z is to Beyonce.
Ouch!
And not a soul can bust this team in two. We stick together like glue. And when it's sleeping time,
that's when we rise.
We start to swing.
Swing to the sky.
Our clocks don't chime.
What a surprise.
They ring.
A ding ding, Happy New Year.
Me.
And now to repeat what I said at the start.
I shall.
Don't need a large crowbar to break us apart. Oh, we're alone but far from blue.
And before we get finished, we know this is true. We'll wander the hallways to pick up our crew. Gotta get Shoemaker and Mr. Wing too. Life is gonna be a wee wow wee.
Like the Constitutional Convention.